When I first met Peter, he was manager of our sales office in New York, and we were flying people to the Caribbean, various Caribbean islands, and to Miami. And then as it became possible for us to grow in the 1980s, as we achieved some cost reductions and some much better union contracts, Peter started talking to us all about the importance of Miami, how Miami was effectively the commercial capital of Latin America, how there was going to be enormous growth in Latin America in the years ahead.
So I met Peter, the first time I really had a conversation with him. And he told me Crandall had asked him to come down because of his knowledge of the Caribbean, Spanish, and I was fascinated by how intense and how serious he was. And he wanted to be sure that I understood this. I said, you know, Peter, my guess is, given your background, that it won't be long before you are down here. You'll get some sand in your shoes, and I use that term, and it would be hard to get you out of Miami. You couldn't get Peter out of Miami today with a crowbar.
You know, Peter has a passion, and I would say probably for three things. It's his family, American Airlines, and his community. And since I have known him, that really has been what drives him.
His absolute core belief is that if Miami does well, if his community does well, he will do well. American Airlines will do well.
Well, I think it's because it's not about Peter. It's about the community, it's about people, it's about families, it's about making the community better. And I think that's what really drives him.
He is a very, very warm and caring human being.
And that passion translates into that very high level of preparation, that very high level of commitment to his people and to his customers that shows up in the business.
Peter's an extraordinarily passionate individual, and he's always thinking ahead, always changing, always adapting to new circumstances, and I think that's why we love him so much, why we respect him so much. What you see in Miami today is Peter's vision, which he brought to bear on this company beginning some 20 years ago. But I don't think it's an overstatement to say there'd be no Miami hub without Peter DeLaura.
Peter has had an enormous impact on Americans' role in Miami, both in terms of urging and advocating and leading the way, and very importantly in terms of executing expertly.
Peter DeLaura is the driving force behind American Airlines being in Miami. And when you think about it, you know, as short as only 20 years ago, we had 19 flights. And today we are well over 300 flights with over 9,000 employees.
He understands the power of investing, of bringing people to this community, of bringing people in this community to other places.
A big part of Miami's growth and prosperity in the last 20 years is attributable to the enormous growth of the Miami airport. And of course, a lot of that growth, perhaps most of that growth, is due to American Airlines. And the fact that American Airlines has grown so dramatically is very directly attributable to Peter DeLaura's leadership and advocacy and excellent management of the facility and all the flights that we have there.
Another American Airlines airplane arrives at Miami International Airport. Thank you, Peter DeLaura. The Sand in My Shoes award is certainly well-deserving for you, but I can tell you it's not only the sand in my shoes, it's got to be the sand in your boots.
Everybody in the company recognizes that this is something that Peter built. This is a house that Peter DeLaura built.
Peter DeLaura is South Florida's ambassador, unofficial ambassador, to Latin America and the Caribbean, and has been a key player in the transformation of Miami as the gateway to the Americas.
It used to be that St. Louis was a bigger hub. It used to be that there were lots of other bigger hubs. So these things don't happen just because. And by the way, they don't continue successfully just because. This is a man who wakes up every day and thinks, how do I grow American Airlines in the hemisphere?
American Airlines and Peter DeLaura has understood the role that the college plays, not only in Miami, but in connecting to Latin America. And he has been extremely generous, and his people have participated with us in all kinds of activities and educational endeavors that has been to the benefit of the entire community.
He has a lot of empathy for the people in Haiti. He has always had that. I mean, it is not recent. It is not just with, all of the earthquake and other things that have occurred there.
Anytime there is a crisis or a catastrophe, as you reference in Haiti, Peter is the first to think about our own family, American Airlines employees that are impacted, but then the larger community. And I think we had the first relief flights into Haiti with supplies and equipment. And of course, Peter was the driving force behind that.
People are really, first and foremost, what he concerns himself with. He knows how to build relationships with people. He knows how to foster relationships with people. And I think mostly that is because he really does care very much about all people.
He's very shy, in my opinion, and very quiet in his own way. He is a guy that likes to achieve things without making much noise.
I describe him as a gentle giant. A guy with a true vision for his company and his city. And he goes about it quite quietly, but he gets an awful lot of things done.
He's a mentor, he's a coach. He asks you the questions that makes you think. He doesn't tell you what to do, he doesn't tell you how to do things, but he leads you in a more subtle way so that you get to the right answer.
Management style, I think, is what I would characterize as quiet competence.
Peter is quiet. Peter appears to be calm, but Peter is totally intense. There is no living moment of his life when he is not thinking about selling another seat on American Airlines.
Peter is easy to please, hard to satisfy.
I'd hate to let Peter DeLaura down, that's for sure.
I call him Mr. DeLaura.
When you're talking about economic development in the terms of the history of Miami, clearly one of the names that always is mentioned is Henry Flagler. He connected us really to the rest of the world and sort of helped make Miami what it was to become. I think in many ways the Henry Flagler of our time is Peter DeLaura.
Henry Flagler brought the railroad to Miami, and Peter, you've grown this marketplace. You've grown this hub from virtually nothing to one of the top hubs in the world.
What he has been able to do in turning American Airlines into a major economic factor in South Florida and for the company overall, it is to be applauded. It is something that definitely will go in the history books of Miami.
When Peter's legacy is written, I think people will say that he built this fantastically successful business operation.
When the history of Miami is written, clearly one of the names that will stand out as really making an imprint and moving Miami to the next level will be Peter DeLaura.
I hope that somebody also goes to the families of the tens of thousands of people who owe their job to the fact that he built this kind of an operation.
Everyone calls Peter Jefe.
Jefe.
Jefe. Jefe.
Jefe.
Jefe, is, I frankly don't know what it means. I think it means boss or big guy.
I recently had an opportunity to travel with Mr. DeLaura to Brazil, and it was clear that he was El Jefe. They surely knew that he was the boss, and they all knew him, but I think even more importantly, it goes to his leadership that he knew who they were.
Peter has never forgotten his roots, and so he remembers that clearly in dealings with all people.
I think Peter not only has sand on his shoes, but I think the sand is reached much higher, someplace above his knee and below his back.
Peter DeLaura is what I would say a community treasure. And as such, I think he has a lot of sand in his shoes.
Peter, Florence, and I congratulate you on this honor. It's well deserved, and I know you'll have many, many more accolades in the years to come.
Congratulations, Jefe. The best is yet to come.
Jefe, de parte de todos nosotros en Airport Services and Cargo, congratulations. You have a great, great evening. Well deserved, well done. Thank you, sir.
Jefe, I just wanted to say, as a friend, a colleague, and someone who I've truly enjoyed spending time with, congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
Peter, we are so excited for you and receiving this award. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jefe. I could not think of a more deserving person than you to receive this prestigious award by the Miami Chamber for Sand in My Shoes, because you have all of the sand of Miami Beach in your shoes, the way you represent the city of Miami and our company around the world.
Jefe, muchas felicidades. Estamos muy orgullosos de ti. We're very, very proud of you.
Congratulations, Peter from American Eagle. You have always been one of our greatest supporters, and on behalf of all 10,000 Eagle employees, we thank you very much.
Mr. DeLaura, I am so proud to be able to be here today celebrating this wonderful achievement for you, a very well-deserved award.
I believe that people need to be celebrated. You deserve to be celebrated. Thank you, my friend.
Peter, my friend, congratulations. This is a very well-deserved honor. I am so proud to be with you celebrating all your accomplishments and all you've done for this community. I know you are not done yet, but you've done plenty, and we're proud of you.
I know that all of your friends and colleagues at American will join me in wild applause for this very well-deserved award.